Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Ben here at thatcologneguy coming at you with another fragrance review. And indeed, in this particular episode, we are on, oh yes, I'm going to do it, a journey. As you know, I took a look at this 10 sample pack, along with this extra sample that they sent when they sent me the sampler pack, which is Figment Man. And the final one to review of the sampler is indeed Journeyman. And no, I did not plan it this way. I like to pick these at random, and this just happened to be the last one. But it works perfectly for the notion that I did indeed go on a journey with the Amouage sampler set. And this is the last one. So we take a look at this 2014 Woody Spicy release by Amouage, Journeyman. And you know, sometimes I try to keep these to 3 or 4 notes when I talk about the notes that stand out. And that's not going to work for this one. This one's kind of like a Jubilation 25 that you can talk about certain notes, but the bottom line is the combination of them and how they blend is superb. And this, for me, I don't want to say the end of the road, but this 2014 release was kind of the end of the frankincense, myrrh, kind of the traditional Amouage DNA for me. And then they went on to kind of Figment Man, and they went on to try different things that sometimes work, sometimes not so much. And I'm starting to see that this house is kind of going back to these, and I'm happy to say that, because this is really, really where it's at for me, and what makes Amouage Amouage. Original, incredibly expensive, regal, and smelling truly outstanding. And so, without further ado, let's take a look at the notes. So, what I get, I definitely get Szechuan pepper. You're going to get a strong pepper note, especially in the beginning. And in the first hour, the Szechuan pepper note is going to really stand out for you. At least it does on my skin. And then actually, one of the top notes is tobacco. And I have to tell you that, when I looked at Fragrantic reviews, a lot of people talk about the tobacco, and I don't pick up too much of a tobacco note for me. I mean, I pick it up, of course, but it doesn't stand out too much. But it certainly is there in the background on my skin. Now you're going to get a lot of bergamot and cardamom, and from the bergamot really mixes well with the Szechuan pepper. This is almost a gourmand fragrance for someone who's looking for, kind of a gourmand light, if you will. Something that approximates food, but isn't quite a full-on explosion like Amen or something. Or some of the ones that taste like cake and those kinds of things. I would consider this as a good first introduction into gourmand-like fragrances. Not saying that it is, but because of the Szechuan pepper and the bergamot, it does have a gourmand-like quality. I'm not a huge fan of gourmands, and I love this, so that tells you right there. It does have the incense in the background, as I said, the kind of Amouage DNA to it. And then what I love, too, is it has this fascinating mix of juniper berries and neroli. And neroli does really, really well on my skin, and it's one of my favorite notes. And I like juniper berries, actually, too. And so this works out quite well to have the combination of the two, which is not very common to put juniper berries with neroli, to my knowledge, at least. And then you get just a hint of leather. And so what's really interesting about this fragrance is right when you think it's going to be gourmandy, kind of fruit and pepper mix, then all of a sudden it goes into kind of a smoky leather kind of fragrance. And then it finally really kicks in with more of the incense and juniper berries and neroli. And so this, I did actually check on Lucky Scent, because I usually say I would imagine, but I actually looked at the continuum this time for Journeyman on Lucky Scent, and it's where I thought it would be, which is feminine, unisex, masculine, and it's right in the middle between unisex and masculine. And that's where I would place this. This is not too much of leather or smoke or pepper. It's just the right amount, and the neroli and juniper berries really tapers it down, and makes it a very accessible fragrance for anyone. So of course it's called Journeyman. They also do Journeywoman, but no doubt that anyone could pull this one off. And in fact, as far as talking about the versatility factor, is another Amouage that is off the charts. And so as far as occasion, I'm not even going to mention one. You name it and you can wear it. Barbecue, office, wedding, special date, appointment at the eye doctor, you name it, you can wear this thing anytime, anywhere, any age group that can afford it. Again, probably 40 and up, that's just because that's who can afford this. But this is beyond categorization for things like age, gender, and occasion. Versatility really, for me, is a 10 out of a 10 if I use that rating system. And I certainly really appreciate that about this fragrance. One thing about Amouages that I really found myself saying in these is, if you're the kind of person that just quote unquote wants to smell good and you don't really care about seasons and occasions and that such, then a lot of these Amouages are just brilliant in that sense, because they're original and oh so versatile, and that's what I love about this house. Okay, so projection and longevity. Longevity was typical of Amouage, so you're looking at a rock solid 8 to 12 hours, 8 to 10 we'll call it. So you will easily get a work shift out of this, and projection was also very good. I wouldn't say it's not Interlude Man, but what is. So it won't be Chorus or Interlude Man where it'll bomb everybody out of the house and office, etc. This one is exactly what it should be for projection, about an arm's length, maybe a little bit more. I would go 3 to 4 sprays on this, and then longevity is a very impressive 8 to 10, and that's on skin. If you are the type of person that sprays on your clothes, then you're going to get probably 11 to 14 out of this easily. Okay, so there you have it. That is Journeyman by Amouage, and this is the last episode of the sampler, so that means this is the last episode of the faux sprays. You know that I rate each fragrance out of 5 sprays, and there's just, is there? I don't even think there. Oh, there it is. There's just a little tiny bit left. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 sprays. If you can find a weakness on this, name it. I mean, okay, other than price, how's that? And by the way, if you like the Szechuan pepper note, but you can't, find an extra $300 laying around, then you would want to consider, not because it smells exactly like it, but it has a very strong Szechuan pepper note in it, is Eternity Aqua. So if you are on a really tight budget and you want to smell good and you like this particular note, it's a freshie though, but you can get Eternity Aqua for very cheap. In fact, you can get the body spray for even $10. And is it as regal and majestic? No. But at 1/10 of the price, will it satisfy your need to wear something with a Szechuan pepper note and smell good? Yes. In fact, somebody was saying, I read, and they're right, someone says that the Eternity Aqua smells exactly like the Blue Irish Spring bar of soap, and that is exactly what it smells like. And so you're going to get that kind of smell, again, at 1/10 of the price. If you can afford it, you will smell practically like no other. Sounds like I'm making a commercial. I am not sponsored by Amouage, by the way. I did contact them, and I got no response. And so, after going through this sampler, I'll have a few comments to say actually at the end of this episode about the whole experience that I've been through with Amouage. So without further ado, it's 5 out of 5 sprays. So we are going to go 2 on the neck, 1 on each wrist, and how about 1 on the back of the neck, right? Just to leave a scent trail or a sillage, if you will. And so we're gonna go 1, 2. I need to get sound effects. And the 5th one, boom. And there you have it. 5 out of 5 sprays for Journeyman by Amouage. As I was saying, I did contact them, and I asked them if all I can say is no, right? And I did ask them if they could send a few samples my way because I was working on a sampler pack, and I said, I actually don't have any juice left in these, so it's going to be kind of odd if I do a faux spray. But indeed, I got no response, so that's okay. I finished the sampler pack anyway. As I mentioned in the previous episode, I'm moving on to the library collection next, and I actually have juice for every single one of those. I'm looking forward to that one, and I think you'll benefit a lot more from the reviews in that regard because they're by number. So it's like library collection 1, 2, 3. So the because it's by number, the name doesn't really give it away, and so I'll really take a look at those and I'll offer my take on each one. I've worn them all at least one day, but I'll wear it. Maybe I'll do the review at the end of the day, that kind of thing, after I've worn it the whole day. So here you go. I'm sad to say I'm putting this back in its slot. 10 up and 10 down on the sampler. And if I had to say, which one do you think is the best, by the way? There should be no doubt. In fact, I bet if you had a survey, I bet you would get 75% of people would say from this sampler pack, you would get Jubilation 25. If Jubilation 25 also has any weakness at all other than the price, you'd have to comment below because that is pretty much the perfect fragrance. Now, if I had to rate my least favorite one, this is the one you might recall that it's kind of along with Fate actually, Fate, the one that has the cumin in it. Those two are similar, but this one is kind of this one's Figment Man. This is the one that smells like wet soil, and wow, it smells exactly like wet soil. For me personally, if I had to rate the one I would least likely get, it would be Figment Man, and I would still get it. That just tells you how much I like the house. But it's definitely the kind of fragrance, as I mentioned previously, that if you're a music collector and you get one album just to complete your collection for that band, that one is Figment Man. I'm not moved to buy it necessarily, but I would want this in my collection just to add to the Amouage factor. Totally admitting that. Don't dislike it, I just don't really gravitate to it naturally. So Jubilation 25 is the king. And Interlude Man, the Blue Beast, always brings a smile to everyone's face. And then, boy, after that, you might have to look at Journeyman. It's right behind it. These are superb fragrances. They are completely amazing, for lack of a better word, and many of them are classics. As I said, if you want to smell original, and also you want to smell fantastic. Some of the reason why I say that is because sometimes niche, for me personally, as I go away from designer into niche, some of the niche are not. They're quite unique, but I don't know if I really like the actual smell. That's just me. I was the Eternity Aqua type wearing person for many, many, many years. So, I by no means have a sophisticated nose by any stretch of the imagination, nor do I pretend to have one. But for me personally, what I absolutely love is that it's the perfect marriage between smelling fantastic and original. And actually, I had another one lasting a very long time. Kudos to Amouage. Only thing I would detract from them is that they did not get back to me. They could have just simply said no thank you or get more subscribers, anything, but I got no response. So that would be the only thing I would detract from this house and their price tag. Okay, I'm still waiting, by the way. If you guys know of any discounters where I could get some good Amouage, let me know. I'm always looking for that. That is a wrap on the sampler set. I'm going to move on to the library collection, and I want to thank everyone again for the recent subscribers to the channel. And as I always do for the newbies, I will say, welcome to the Cologne crew. So, without further ado, I'd like to wish you a special long weekend. It's Labor Day on Monday. It's Friday now, so have a great 3-day weekend. And wish you all the best. Looking forward to the next review. Always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on notifications, the notification bell above, so that way as soon as I upload an episode, you are notified. There you have it. Another review by the boards. And always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care.